Welcome back to the All Figured Out podcast. My name is Andrea Barr. Thank you for joining me again this week. I am so excited for you to hear this episode with Heather Odendaal. She is the founder of WNORTH. She's hosting the WNORTH Conference May 6th to 8th, 2026. It is going to be incredible. So she shares a little bit about the conference, but in this episode, it is just all about her journey as someone who was a working professional, now entrepreneur. We talk about events. Why are events just like absolutely popping off right now? What she kind of sees in that space. Her journey as a mother, growing 2 businesses, 2 babies, and just juggling all of it, how she's doing that. And it's just a really fun, lovely conversation between 2 women who are not self-proclaimed experts at parenting or figuring all this stuff out, but we share some, tidbits of what we've learned along the way. So I hope you enjoy. This is All Figured Out. I'm Andrea Barr. I'm a career coach for parents, a mom of 2, and I absolutely believe that you can continue to grow personally and professionally while protecting family time. We're about to figure this work, life, and parenting stuff out together. Heather Odendaal, thanks for coming on the All Figured Out podcast.
It's great to be here, Andrea.
It's so good. We finally had this happen. I think we spoke in October. It is now March, the end of March.
Takes some time. Great things.
You know what? I think this is the perfect time. People need, we're going to talk about WNORTH, the conference coming to Whistler, May 6th to 8th, 2026. Beautiful 4 seasons. We're going to talk about that. I think people need that push. People like a bit of spice. They like to know tickets are closing.
Yep.
They're selling out.
We are rocking and rolling.
We
right
are
now.
rocking and rolling. But we're gonna have a big old chat about all sorts of things, about motherhood, about events, event planning, the fact that you get flown to Abu Dhabi the week before shit hits the fan. Just absolute madness. General Assembly, United Nations in New York. You have an absolutely wild, unbelievable life and story. But first I want to start off with, what the hell is going on with events right now? Why are events like this thing?
So events are having a moment. And as an event planner, I am here for it, because I'll tell you that when I met somebody randomly in 2020 or 2021, with masks on and everything, and they say, "What do you do for a living?" And you said, "Event planner." You weren't, everyone looks at you with these puppy dog eyes like, "You poor thing." And it was, not a cool profession, but now it's pretty cool. So I'm happy. And I actually just started I told you a couple weeks ago, I was in South by Southwest, and I started introducing myself as a conference entrepreneur as my new jam, because I was so proud that, not only do I produce a conference, but I founded the conference, and it's still going after 11 years. So I think events and in-person gatherings are having a moment and will continue to have a moment. I think the statistic is that right now the industry is worth about $700 million, and it's going to go to $3 billion in the next 15 years. So it is, things aren't going anywhere for the events industry.
Unbelievable. What do you think is the secret sauce for an event that kills it? And I ask this because I've been attending a ton of events recently. I've seen you at different events. I've come to a WNORTH Summit, which is one of your kind of one-off, almost pop-up, anybody can come vibe.
Yep.
And it was awesome. It was so well curated. And then I've gone to some events that are is this just for the photo? There was no substance. What is the substance that you think really makes a badass event?
So I had actually had this conversation recently with somebody about my dislike for flower walls. I'm going to start there. Because one of the things, excuse me.
Yeah. You're let me get revved up for this. I feel passionate about this.
I'm going to go off on a tear. No, and I'm going to use a flower wall as an example or an analogy.
Euphemism.
Thank you. So a lot of the times, if we get too wrapped up in what an event looks like, we don't spend enough time curating the experience of what they're actually going to feel going into the room, who's going to be there, how they're going to interact. So you can have both. You can have the flower wall and the total connection. But I think that it is, if you go to a WNORTH event, you'll see clean lines, you'll see nice, beautiful luxury greens, but you won't see a whole lot of fluff. And I think the reason that we do that is because we are so focused on the people in the room. And I'll sort of backwards engineer this a little bit for you. One of the things that I think has really developed our sense of belonging at WNORTH is our membership community. And so this consistent face that you see. Maybe you are new to the group, but we always we talk about horseshoes, not circles at WNORTH. And so this idea that there's always room for one more in the conversation. And our membership, is that consistent voice that even if I'm not in the room, they think about, including those new faces and including those new people. And so I think, what really sets an event apart is creating a sense of belonging. And you mentioned it, but I'll bring it. That's why I got flown to Abu Dhabi a couple weeks ago to do a conference talk to a room of global event planners about creating a sense of belonging at your conference or event. And I think that is the true secret sauce is making sure and also measuring belonging. So we have a survey question in our conference survey, which is, a couple questions that point to how did they have a sense of belonging? Did the conference make them feel included? And I think measuring that after the fact is just as important as planning for it beforehand.
That's such an interesting way of just looking at all of it, not just the fluff, really thinking about the belonging and measuring it too. Not just being how did you feel? Hey, how did it go? Anecdotally getting that information. I think that is, that's hard. That's hard to get feedback though too. It's hard to process that. How do you, and then we're going to go back. We're going to go way back. I want to hear the inception of WNORTH and everything. However, how do you cater to so many different types of people that would walk into an event? And I'm asking this also as someone might be listening who is hosting a birthday party. And it's there's some people who want to do the karaoke. There's other people who would rather poke their eye out.
Mm-hmm.
You have people come to a conference who are they have got their business cards in their hand and they are just firing them out. And then there's other people who does not want to turn to the person next to them and introduce yourself and do that little game. So how are you curating these events to create belonging with so many different types of people?
So I think at the foundation of every event, there is still the why. Why are we doing this? Why are we gathering? From the outside, it may seem that, WNORTH is for everyone. There's, there's entrepreneurs, there's corporate leaders, but there is a baseline of leadership. There's a baseline of leadership and leadership development and ambitious, driven women that want to get to that next level of leadership, whether that is an entrepreneur growing their business from being a solopreneur to a scaling business, whether it is a mid-management professional who wants to get to that director level. So there is that underlying leadership sort of baseline. Whenever you are planning an event, whether it's a birthday, what is the purpose? Whose birthday is it? Invite the people that are important to that person. I mean, we all go through it with weddings, but I won't even go there because I'm a retired wedding planner and I don't talk about it anymore. Oh. But, think about the objectives and then work to serve it, with the people who, you bring into the room. So that's that for WNORTH, that's leadership and just getting really clear on the education. And you will find, there are lots of communities that are very entrepreneurial focused that are just about running your business and how to gain social media followers for your business. We don't tend to have a lot of that content because there are existing communities that hyper focus in on those types of things. So for us, it's about the leadership. It's about managing up, managing down, hiring employees, getting to that next level. Sometimes it's the unsexy part of growing a business, right? It's like you get thrown into running a company with 25 employees and you're like, suddenly I'm the CEO of this company and I don't know how I got here. And so that's what we see a lot of at WNORTH.
That's so good. It's part of what I've started creating. You know, you've found a white space and you're not afraid to be like, this is for the ambitious women. And we're I don't know, we're in this like phase of wanting to please everybody in the sense that like, oh, but like if you're not ambitious, that's okay too. I have a feeling that's not in your marketing. You know, it's like you're not saying like, oh, but if you're not ambitious, like that's okay. No, like it's okay to not be for everybody. And I know that's like so cliche and everybody's saying that and that's what all the books are about right now. But truly, it's like I talk to parents and I talk a lot specifically about mothers.
Mm-hmm.
And that's great. Like, you know, it's great to really have a niche.
Yeah.
And it helps people understand, should I be in that room or not? You know, like, okay, I'm a woman, check. Great. I'm a professional, check. I do strive for that next level of leadership, check. And so then other people around you as the guest, that's a better experience because you're like, great, I'm sitting next to somebody who's also self-selecting to be in this room. And so we have this like undercurrent of, it's like the birthday party, we both know Heather. We're at the birthday party. Our common ground is Heather, right? It's like, okay, our common ground is we're ambitious women in business.
Yep.
Whatever that might be. This episode is proudly sponsored by WNORTH. I am so honored to be interviewing Heather. I hope you've been enjoying the episode so far. I am just so excited myself to be going to Whistler for May 6th to 8th, 2026 to elevate my leadership as a human being, as a mother, as a leader, and I hope you will join me. It is taking place at the beautiful Four Seasons in Whistler. It is going to be luxurious. If you know Heather, if you know WNORTH, if you've seen anything that she's done in her photography, in her videos online, you know it is going to be spectacular. It is an investment. I'm going to say that. It is an investment, but it is 3 days of really, really high level, high impact speakers, networking opportunities, and it just honestly looks like fun. So join me at WNORTH, the conference happening this spring, May 6th to 8th, 2026 in Whistler, British Columbia. Fly out from wherever you are. I hope to see you there.
And one thing I will also note is that we've kind of, in addition to having those ambitions in the room, we've also really crafted some of our programming to understand the seasons that go through, like the women sit in within their lives or their careers, and even the year. So I'll give you an example. So I used to work for an organization called YPO, Young Presidents Organization, and it's a executive network that does forum groups. Well, we have been doing forum groups since we incepted in 2018, our membership. But we do things a little differently because we are women and we have seasons of life and we have seasons of the year where, soccer season is in the fall and there's all of these other commitments and then we go on holidays and just fall is our no-go zone. And so we run our forums program 3 times a year. Fall, winter, and spring. And you can sign up for all of them or you can just sign up for the season of which you can handle it. Mm-hmm. And that is what I sort of take away as rebuilding, like taking a system, breaking it, and then rebuilding it in a way that actually works for women. And you know what? If you miss one, you don't get kicked out.
Are there not naming these organizations, but there's ones where you do?
Yes.
Like it's as if you're like a board member?
Yes.
Oh, come on.
Yes. It's in the executive level tier network. It is very common for this to happen, but it comes from a very male-dominated perspective.
Yes.
Because, there are going to be reasons that you miss a meeting. And the other thing is many of these meetings are in person. We do ours virtually. And, I still broadcast the WNORTH Conference as a hybrid conference. We have a virtual experience that is second to none. And we do that because we've got women in our community who are on maternity leave. We've got women in our community who can't travel for health reasons. We've got all sorts of reasons, and talk about, the sense of belonging. As a member, if you just can't make it this year for whatever reason, you can hop on, watch it as a member for free, and still feel like you're a part of the community.
That is so exceptional. And that, like, the accessibility, the belonging, the sense of, like, really, I love that. Like, you're taking this existing very patriarchal structure and you're like, let's break this down and actually make this work. It's like, who's going to be doing that? I hope it's me. Who's going to be doing that for the working mother? Like, that whole structure
totally
needs to be cut off from the legs and rebuilt, because it is not working. And it's what, it's making me smile because as this like baby in events, this baby event woman, that's what I'm doing on Thursday. Like, I'm hosting my first breakfast club, and I'm like, okay, I come from learning and development in the corporate sense. I did that at Aritzia, was good at it.
Yeah.
And I did it was really good for what it was, for internal professional development. It was great.
Yeah.
And then I've been in the mommy clubs, and I speak at mommy events all the time, and I'm like doing the mommy thing. I have a podcast for moms. But then it's like, how are these two things coming together in a way where we can like break down the white tablecloth, church basement, like boring ass professional development event for whatever, which is not WNORTH, but you know what I'm talking about.
I totally do.
And then how do we target it so that it's for moms? Like, and that's what Thursday is for me. And I'm pumped because I'm like, yes, break the thing down and rebuild it if you're seeing a gap in the whatever.
And there is an insatiable appetite for events right now. Like, it really, truly is. And I'm here for it. And I think that we'll continue to see new events pop up, and I think it's really exciting.
Yes.
And so I'm so excited for you
Thank you. And I love that everyone's just willing to, like, we have overlapping audiences, which we're not cannibalizing one another, but yeah, there's people, it's like, where are people spending their money? But I just love that in this space, in like in-person gatherings, like, I can come to your event and support and also get something from it. Like, you can come to mine. Like, it's a very, what's the word? Like,
collaborative.
Yes. Super collaborative space. Yeah. Okay. We got to go back to the time of your life when you were losing 6 figures a month in your business. Heather.
Yes.
Tell us the story.
So this was about year 5 of the WNORTH Conference. And as I like to tell people, it's like a startup every year. It's like starting a startup.
Every year?
Almost. Yeah. I mean, it's a couple hundred, it's, $500,000 investment in committing to doing something. And then you just have to sell tickets. So
people don't know this. People don't realize.
Don't.
They see a price tag of over $1,000 for a conference and they're like, whoa, that's expensive.
Yes.
It's like, yeah, it's expensive to host it.
Yes. Well, I can also tell this. Well, so I'll go back a little bit. I can go in many different directions, but we were about 5 weeks away from hosting our 5th conference, and I was actually over in London for International Women's Day. We do an event at the Canadian Embassy every year, and I remember recording an Instagram story on the just right beside the Thames in the pouring rain. And I was like so hell-bent that this conference was going ahead, the one in April. And I was like, don't worry, it's happening. Like, I know you're hearing, like a week later. A week later, I was like flying back to Canada because Prime Minister Trudeau was like shutting the doors to the country, and that began the sort of the slow, not even slow, the very quick, cash flow issue, and the challenge of the fact that we were losing $250,000 a month on our various businesses, because between my husband and I, we had a couple businesses in events, tourism, hospitality. And so all very affected by this pandemic. And so what I always take from that, well, first of all, it took about 2.5 years But we built, by 2023, we built back to pre-pandemic revenue.
Wow.
Which was not easy, but also, and now we've long surpassed pre-pandemic revenue, which is great. So, but that was a moment for me, was like, we're finally back. We finally got back to a place where we were in 2019. So yeah, it was a journey. And it was something that, I don't even think I really understood the word resilience until I lived through that experience.
What kept you going in those years when you could have shut the doors and said, okay, let's just sunk costs, let's just...
Loans.
That
Honestly,
old thing. Yeah.
I don't, I think that there was so much going on. I had a 1.5-year-old, I had an 18-month-old, and a 4-year-old at home for those first 4 months. And I had to pivot because I literally had to produce a virtual experience that I didn't have the money to give back to people, but I also paid all the vendors. And so I had to create an experience that made people okay with the fact that I didn't give them their money back. And we did. By October, we had created an incredible 6-week course with 6 different executive leadership coaches. We had curated a WNORTH gift box that was worth over $500 that we shipped to everybody. And then we did an incredible virtual experience with some of the biggest speakers that I ever had, because I was able to go into my Rolodex globally and be like, hey, who's free virtually, and everyone. So it was really cool. And, we ended up having a woman named Esther Wojcicki as one of our keynotes. She's known as the godmother of Silicon Valley. Google was founded in her garage.
Oh, come on.
And her late daughter is Susan Wojcicki, who was an executive at YouTube, and Anne Wojcicki, and she has another daughter as well. Name escapes me, but all 3 of them are incredibly successful women, which led her to write a book, How to Raise Successful People, which you have to read as a mom.
My God. Can I get them on the podcast?
Yeah, for sure. I'll make an introduction.
Oh, thank you. That's so, okay. How to raise successful
people.
People. Okay. Not just women. Oh my gosh.
People. Yeah.
Absolutely incredible. So you go from losing 6 figures a month, that is astronomical, to delivering an unbelievable experience, to then surpassing revenue 3 years later, or meeting at least, and then surpassing revenue all those years later. Let's talk about the fact that you're raising children, very small children. In that, how did you... And we don't need to belabor the COVID thing and what was happening. Everyone was just trying to survive.
Yeah.
But once COVID is say 2022 and you're really rebuilding and really growing this business, how have you done it? 4 years later now, you've got older kids, but through that period, those were little babies. You're traveling, you're growing a business. Tell us.
I couldn't do it without my husband. I have a very supportive husband who has put his own career on, the back burner to do more part-time work that he loves, but it's more part-time and more flexible. Because you're right, I travel a lot, and our kids have high needs even now at 7 and 10. And so that was a huge reason that I could continue on, because it's a lot of work. I would also say I had a really great team at that. Well, I still have a really great team, but at that time, they knew where they needed to pick up when I just couldn't get to the e-news, or I couldn't get to the website edits or the social media content or whatever it is. So
yeah. Tell me more. You're the perfect person. I didn't even plan to ask you and go down this vein, but I don't know why I didn't think to ask you about delegation leadership.
Yes.
Both at home and at work. I will say my personal anecdote is that I feel like I'm always kind of skirting that line of like, I'm already so behind.
Mm-hmm.
I know that you hear this all the time. This is the number one complaint of women, mothers everywhere. It's like, I'm already so behind that it just needs to get done. So I just have to do it. My specific question around this is, how do you get ahead enough in the delegation process so that you can actually help your future self instead of doing it in the moment with being like, crap, like I really need help, but now I'm just going to have to do it because I've left it to the last minute?
That I do. I'm not going to like deny I do that myself.
Okay.
For 100%.
Okay. That makes me feel better.
And if you sent me an email between March 2020 and March 2022 and I didn't get back to you, please forgive me, because I literally got to a place where I just didn't respond to anything because I was overwhelmed. I still have too many unread emails in my inbox, but I got to a point where I couldn't catch up, and so I had to just start over. I just had to be like, I may see that person at a party in the future and they may get, you never email me back.
Yeah.
But this is my official apology. And the reality is, we just can't. We can't get to it all. And especially in that season, like I'm kind of out of the fog with this 7 and 10-year-old. And I'm finally realizing just how overwhelming that stage of life is. And so if you're in that stage of life, give yourself some grace, give yourself some flexibility, or give yourself some understanding, because it's just it's that season that we go through that we kind of forget a little bit later in life, but it is intense. And I would say for me as a business owner, the best thing I did was I got a part-time virtual assistant. And so that has really helped me with exactly what you're describing, some of the things that you're like left to the last minute. And you kind of, with your personal, like with your team, you don't really want to admit that you haven't finished this presentation or whatever it is, but it's kind of a secret oath that you have between your VA and you to like, just get it done. And so I think you can get fractional VAs. That's what I have. Yeah. And you would be surprised. I think, so she works like 20 hours a month, but she feels like she works for me all the time because she's there when I need her.
That's so helpful. I also love the idea and just like the visual. I'm such a visual person of like, at some point, sometimes you just have to cut it off and be like, the past is the past and I can't dwell on it. I mean, that's also a conversation with your therapist. I've had many of those. But, you know, it's just like, and give yourself some grace. But the next question I want to ask you is, how do you just be like, how are you enjoying the moment? You know, everyone sees you at a coffee shop and it's an older couple and they come over and they go, enjoy every moment.
Oh, with the kids?
With the kids. And I feel personally this punch in the gut sometimes being like, am I not enjoying it enough? Am I working too much? Am I like so audacious in my goal of like creating this like, unbelievable podcast and this coaching business and whatever, do I have too many big ambitions and am I not enjoying this moment? Someone who has a 10-year-old and an 8-year-old, like, what do you say to that version of yourself?
How old are your kids again?
3 and 5.
Okay.
Yeah.
Whew.
Asking for a friend.
So it's funny because I had this moment like a couple weeks ago when we took our kids up skiing, and
because you live in Whistler.
Because we live in Whistler, but we don't get up there as much as you would think because it's still a slog to get up there with children, right? So we went up with another family, so we're skiing 4 kids under 10. We get up, and the first thing we do is hit the washrooms because, we've already spent 2 hours getting up the mountain. Why not? So a woman turned to me, in the lodge and was like, said that exactly. And she was just like, enjoy the moment. And I'm thinking, lady, you have no idea how this morning went. Like, I was like fuming inside because I was like, took so much effort to get up there. But I just took a moment, took a breath, and then I looked outside because it was a sunny day. And I was like, you know what? She's right. Like, I'm just going to try and forget about the last 2.5 hours that it took to get up here, and I'm just going to take it in. And it's going to be okay that I ski green runs all day for the next 5 years. Or I'm actually getting to bigger runs, but you will be skiing green runs.
We're on the magic carpet right now.
Magic carpet, green runs, and just enjoy every minute. But it is hard when you're in the moment when people say that to you. You're like, you have no idea.
Yes.
And you're personally screaming inside. But
what is your process for navigating the mom guilt? I use quotes. I don't know how I feel about that phrase, but we know what it means. It's a universal kind of whatever. So we'll move past that, whether we like that phrase or not, but mom guilt. How do you work with it as a business owner, as somebody who travels, as someone who loves her work?
So I feel like I can speak to this a little bit more because my kids are getting a little bit older. And I did travel a lot when they were 4 and 7. And I would say what's really cool about now is that they make jokes about how much I travel now. It's like, oh, what mom's gone, where are you gone to Singapore for a week? Like, I haven't been to Singapore in like 3 years, but they just remember these things. And so now it's a little bit of an inside joke, but at the same time, they've seen me pursue my dreams. They've seen me pursue these things. And I think I share as much about my travel and my experiences with them. And so I think that they understand that it's almost aspirational for them too. They want to, they want to come on the trip, or they want to see me succeed, and maybe we'll get to go to that location or whatnot. So I've seen at least the travel side turn into a real positive because I can see that my kids are actually really proud of me and really proud of what I'm doing. And then once in a while, I'll be able to show them like a video like this. I'm on a podcast. My son, shout out to my son, Luke, who watches YouTube.
We're on YouTube, Luke. What's up? Although we don't have like the cars and like I don't know what you're watching, Luke, but
Mr. Beast. We're not
cool.
nearly as cool, but
cool. No,
but
that's
yes,
cool.
It is cool.
Yeah.
So, I think that I will admit I didn't have a lot of mom guilt like when they were little, like when they were like 18 months and I'd have to leave them at daycare. My daughter went to daycare at 7 months because I was an entrepreneur and I had to work. So I didn't have that same mom guilt, but it was definitely when I started traveling. It was definitely when my daughter was 4 and 5 and was like crying at night when I wasn't there. And so I think it depends on you as a mom. It also depends on the life stage, and it depends on what you're feeling guilty about. But I would say the best thing you can do for your children is to continue to live out the dreams that you want, because they will see that in you and they will want that for themselves.
And they can feel the resentment if you don't.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not speaking about that from experience, but I never, like sometimes if I'm, meditating or thinking about my future, I'm like, I never want to have regrets. I never want to feel resentment. Like, how can we just avoid that? Yeah. And what does that mean for today? Okay, it means doing the thing, going out tonight to have a dinner with a girlfriend. Like, yes, they're going to be upset. Is this going to ruin them? Probably not. No. Yeah. And I think you mentioned having such a supportive husband too. I think that's like, it's a beautiful privilege and a part of the context. Like in the work that I do, coaching parents who are working, and like you never just look at like the thing, the job, the work. You have to look at the whole context. Yeah. Okay, Heather, I am so excited to attend the WNORTH Conference, May 6th to 8th, 2026. I think I've said that like 5 times as if I'm some sort of like...
You're a promo reel?
Like a promoter like at like the clubs downtown on like Grenville Street. Whistler, 4 Seasons, leadership conference for women. I'm so excited to be an attendee. Tell us what people can expect, what you want them to walk away with, like what's the vibe?
Okay.
Yeah.
So when I founded WNORTH Conference, I knew that I wanted it to be a destination conference. Get women out of their everyday, out of the, the school pickups and the soccer practices and the things that they have to skirt away from the conference, and just really immerse themselves. And in fact, that's a part of our speaker program as well, as the speakers have to attend. at least 70% of the conference.
Love that.
Because I just don't like this like fly in, fly out mentality of the speakers not being immersed in the program.
Yes.
And so what I want women to take away from it is obviously new connections, deeper connections, personal experiences that maybe they haven't had a chance or a time to have, whether that's a sound bath or Pilates class or whatever. That's all integrated into the program. And then, but there's also the speakers and the leadership content, which there's something really powerful about hearing from women who have done it, before you or in it. We have a session called W Talks, which is our members get to apply, and anyone can apply to be a speaker for this Pechakucha style talk. And so we have talks like, about divorce, and we have talks about, helping children with disability. And like, there are so many deep stories that come out in that side of things. And then in general, this is an opportunity for these women to sort of get away, build new relationships, and then if they become members, continue those relationships year round.
Which is so awesome that you have that membership side of it as well, because we all know we've been to the events, we've written. I talk about this all the time here too. Anytime I've gone to a conference, like I am like such a keener. I'm front row. I'm making all the notes. And it's a really great experience when there is some sort of follow-up, some sort of action, some sort of call to action to keep it going, because you get so excited, you're in the moment, you're immersed, and then you go back to real life, and what happened to that notebook gets shoved away.
And
the business cards are collecting dust. You don't remember who that person was. There is like real follow-up that's required if you're really in it. What would you say to the person that wants to come to WNORTH who maybe feels more introverted? I personally don't know what that's like, but no, but there are times like I really don't love a hardcore networking event, like not my jam, which I know is not what WNORTH is. But what do you tell that person? Like, how can they get a lot out of the experience, meet new people, if they're not the one who wants to run and gun, shoot guns and be like, hey, what's up? Here's my business card. Like, how do they experience something like this?
So I love that, because there's a couple of programs that we have integrated, which are very kind of curated. And I'll give you an example. We have these speaker-hosted Connect dinners. So they are groups like tables of 10 and sometimes private dining rooms of 10. And all of our attendees get to sign up for the speaker that they want to sit with, essentially. And what's really cool about that is they are small groups, they're smaller settings with an opportunity to speak with that particular speaker. And what inherently happens is you also curate the audience around that speaker, that it just naturally happens.
Yes.
Because you have, an executive from a, media company, and it just naturally means that a lot of the people who will come to that dinner will be interested in that, industry or that type of thing. So that would be, in my opinion, that's the like safe level of networking that these people might want to engage in. And if they don't want to, if breakfast is kind of crazy and they don't want to like talk to anybody, that doesn't mean that the connections will stop there, because there are a number of touch points that we do, including our forums breakfast, which is on the last day, where you get to pick a table based on a conversation. So you get to pick based on a topic, like what I eat for breakfast is an example, and everyone just goes and talks about what they eat for breakfast, or they go and they're runs the gamut, and they're hosted by different leaders in our community who've just put their hand up and said, I want to host a table. And that way, there's like this natural thread that are going to pull certain types of people together.
That is so cool. What a well-designed way of making it so people can kind of self-select in. I love when you go to something like that where you're being treated like an adult.
Yeah.
Like you're not being forced to do something. It's like, hey, you are choosing your own experience. You choose your own adventure. Yeah. I did my coaching certificate, my graduate certificate at Royal Roads. They did an exceptional job at that. They're like, read the textbook, don't. We're going to test you on your coaching skills in the end. So you better be fucking good. Yes. But it's like, I love that, like, you're just like, hey, you're an adult. Like, you can choose your table. You can choose to mingle or not. But then you're kind of giving people the opportunity to self-select into something that interests them with people of common interests. I think that's our theme today, is like that, like finding the commonalities and like understanding the why.
Yes.
Finding people around you that have a common interest, even one thread. Like there's something to that. Where can everybody sign up? You have a very, very generous, very special code for the audience. This is a fast action bonus here, people. We are coming close to May, and so you got to act quickly, especially if you want to have a hotel stay, which you should.
Yes.
So tell us all the things. How can people get tickets? What's the code? All that.
WNORTHconnect.com is our website.
Great website.
And you can toggle over to the conference and you can use code AFO. Oh, so AFO.
I'll figure it out. AFO.
I wasn't even spelling right. AFO to get $150 off your pass.
Woo-hoo-hoo.
And bonus is because if you can get it in before March 30th, which is Monday, you are still getting the early bird. So you're getting $150 off the early bird. Which I believe is $14.50. Yes, $14.50. But the price goes up on Monday, $200. Okay. So you have to act fast. Your code still works, but it works better. Yeah.
Okay.
So that, and then there's the Four Seasons room block is closing soon as well. Okay. So rates are $375 a night, which is really good for one of arguably the best hotels in Canada, I think, in my opinion. So those are closing next Monday as well.
Unbelievable. Oh, and like who doesn't want a hotel stay?
Yes. I mean, there's lots of great properties in Whistler too.
Yes.
If you can't get in.
Yes.
We would love to have you.
Thank you. That is so generous. Thank you for coming on. Thank you for being so open, sharing your whole story. We went all over the place. I loved this conversation. This was such a treat. I feel so inspired by you and your journey, and there's so much more we could talk about. You have to come back on. We didn't even touch on Abu Dhabi, but you did in fact get to go to Abu Dhabi.
I did.
And you
came back just in time.
Oh my gosh, you have just been all over the world. Congratulations on all your success.
Thank you.
I'm so excited for the conference
Me
in May.
too, Andrea.
Can't wait to see you there. Thanks, Heather.